Hey baby, this is Ro. Welcome to the back of the classroom. Go ahead and turn the volume up because you're not going to miss this. Today we're talking about Law 38 from the 48 Laws of Power. Think as you would like, but behave like others. So what I got from it, maybe you did too, is a lot of times when you think differently than everybody else, or let's say the majority, you don't want to go against the grain too much, because if you do and you sound like you're more right in the way you talk and you're just up here with it, where everybody else might feel like they're down here, you make them feel away. So I guess it's more so be mindful of your words. Be mindful of how you say certain things, because nobody likes to show off. If someone's speaking very simply and then you start to speak profoundly, oh, why are you using those fancy words? Oh, you're trying to show off and you're trying to make it sound like you're better than us. And the majority of people is going to turn against you because you kind of make them feel inferior. Not on purpose, but that's how people feel when they come across somebody who might be a little bit more intellectual, or someone who's a lot more, how would you go, swift with their words and just being able to articulate themselves a little bit better, or people who just a little bit more better vocabulary, somebody who just thinks on their feet a little bit quicker, and oh, well, you're just a real clever person and you always got to be clever, and then they take their insecurities and they apply it to you because this is what they're feeling in the moment, and it doesn't have to be anything intentional on your end. So in my experience, you kind of read the room, right? You walk into the room, you speak to everybody, and you see by the way people speak, the way that they speak, the level that they're on. So when you start to speak to them, you're not speaking almost like language they don't know. If you were as a doctor and you started speaking to a patient using doctor terms, the average person wouldn't know it. So they'll tell you to speak in layman terms, which is for the general audience. So a lot of times you can come from a background where you know a little bit more than everybody else, and you're trying to educate them, or you at least you want people to be on the same page. But first you have to be on the same page with them. Not saying you have to dumb yourself down. You just have to be able to speak to the people on their level and bring them to your level, so that the direction you want to go, you can go with the least amount of resistance. Because not everybody's going to understand your direction, where you want to go, how you want to go about it, if nobody can really understand and follow what you're saying. Especially when people feel like you're making a fool of them and you're, just outshining and showing off, and nobody wants to follow that. They'll look and be like, oh, okay. But if everybody wants to go left and you're telling everybody about we should go right, and you're just breaking things, people feel inferior. Oh, you're just using all these technical terms and so on and so forth. So give people the option. Hey, we can do that. And if things go wrong, I've found something else over here. Maybe we can take that into consideration. If this doesn't go right, we should always have options. But you help people and you guide them and you speak to them and you show them the different things based on what they're saying, and let them draw the conclusion of, oh, wait, maybe this might be a good idea. And then they'll be like, hey, what was you talking about earlier about plan B? Okay, and how does that work? And you're just helping them see things without giving them so much information and them feeling inferior. You just got to give some people, you got to spoon feed them so that they don't feel inferior, and you don't come across as like you're sitting on this high horse above them in this superior way where can't nobody talk to you because you're just full of yourself. You want to avoid that as much as possible. So when people are around others, they feel safer when they know the people that they're around understands them. And a lot of the issues that people have as a people is the lack of understanding. People say things and the other person might not understand it in total, or people say things and they believe they understand it, and then when they go to act things out and execute a plan, it's not what the person originally said or intended. So there's a lot of misunderstandings that happen amongst people, to where we think we grew up the same way, so the way I say things, it should be understood when I speak to somebody else. And in reality, that's not always the case. And when you know you have more and extensive knowledge on things, but the majority of the people want to do things a certain way, you need to be more careful with what you think and how you say it. So it's okay to think what you think, but you can't share those things with everyone. Share with your close circle. Share with the people who won't be intimidated or feel insulted by the things that you're thinking because of what you're experiencing. And the things you choose to speak about, let it be the things majority of the people will understand, and they can grasp the concepts and the verbiage that you're using, because you don't want to have a vocabulary that nobody understands and you're just giving a speech to people and people are just like, what? I don't understand what you're saying. And then that causes more confusion. So sometimes you have to speak to people on a level that they understand. And then your true thoughts and the way that you really feel about things, share that with your group of people that think along the same lines that you do, or at least the people that won't be insulted or feel like you're acting superior because of what it is that you're saying or thinking or what goes on in your head. So definitely be mindful of those things. And you can take that whether you're in school, at work, amongst your friends. Sometimes you test the waters, right? You ask for, hey, so if you want to talk about sports, what's your favorite basketball team? Oh, you watch soccer, depending on who you at, they might call it football. So you check the temperature, you see where people are at with things, so you know how to initiate the conversation. And everything is, I would say, a testing of the waters, right? In every conversation. When you walk into a room, why do you greet people and say hi? You want to see how they're reacting to certain things. So if they have an attitude, oh, this person might not be in the best of moods. Let me give them a minute. I'll check back with them later. Because we all know when someone's going through some things, they just need a little bit of time. Or some people need more time. But you gauge it based on simple, short conversations just to test the water, check the temperature, see where they're at with things before you engage. You don't want to engage somebody who might not be in the mood, who might be going through something, because they might lash out on you and give you something that's not intended for you. But you wasn't paying attention to the signs. You wasn't testing the waters to see how they might react to things, and you just dove right in. So you want to avoid that. Same thing at work. Work, school, you go to school to learn, you go to work to work. You didn't go there to make friends. People should leave their personal issues at home or wherever their personal issues are, and just speak in terms where if you're at work, it's all work related. If you're at school, let it be whatever's going on in school, understanding for your knowledge. But those things carry over into everything else. So understanding that, you see a teacher, good morning, see how they act. Supervisor, manager, good morning, see how they respond. If they're in a rush, no problem. Hey, when you get a moment, I'd like to talk to you. And if they remember in the course of time, great. If not, write down your notes. See what it is that you want to get across. So when you speak to them, you can remember all of those points and get to them at a later time, because you don't want to say something to somebody when they're not in the mood or in the moment. They got a lot of things going on in their mind, because then the things that you say can easily slip their mind and it won't stick. You want what you say to be received, understood, and broken down so they can evaluate what it is that you said that you want, so they can accommodate you or respond in kind. So if you're catching somebody in the middle of running around and you tell them 10 different things, they might not remember one. They'll just remember you stopped them, and they'll come back to them like, what was you saying? And then you might feel like they wasted your time, or, oh, but I told you everything already, and why don't you remember it? There's a lot of things going on. And because we're not in their shoes, we can't gauge it without first seeing where they're at with things, testing the waters, check their temperature, see where they're at, so that when you do speak or interact with them, it reciprocates the way you prefer. So the same thing with speaking and having a thought process and wanting to move things from one point to another. You got to be able to gauge people and see where they're at with things, so that when you do speak to them, it's received and recepted the way you want it to. And then you can get the outcome you desire. But all these things take patience. It takes timing. It takes more time to learn and develop yourself, and then learn and understand people. And the more you interact with people, the better you can understand yourself. You don't know how much patience you have until you come across people who will occupy more of your time without giving you the things that you require in that moment. So it is definitely an ongoing skill set that you have to develop. And then as time passes, you'll be able to handle yourself better. At some point, nobody likes waiting, but how you conduct yourself while waiting can change how you handle yourself when the time is right. I give you one thing I do for myself is there's priorities. There's certain things that I have, things that I have to handle, things that I have to consider, things that I think about. If I'm at a doctor's office and I'm waiting on the doctor to get back to me, if I'm just sitting there doing nothing and time is going by, I can get a little agitated, a little upset because I'm just sitting there, I'm not doing anything. But if I take my mind into a different mode, instead of sitting there waiting because I can't go anywhere, I'm going to be there for an extended period of time, I can go into my phone and start doing research. I can start looking into things and learning different things and then saving it, putting it in a different folder. So by the time the doctor calls me, I've utilized my time to learn something, put some things together, shoot some messages and some emails out, and then I've actually used that time to my benefit. Why? Because I can sit down, I can relax, I'm not driving, I'm not entertained by anything. I can actually focus on getting certain things done until I'm called. And then I realized I shifted things in my immediate time frame as a priority, where since I'm at the doctor's office already, I'm not late, I can knock out a few things. And because I changed my mindset on what I'm doing while I'm sitting there and I have the time to do other things, I couldn't fail and I couldn't lose. So now I feel like I got some things done. I didn't sit there waiting to be patient. I actually got things done without feeling the pressure of sitting there wasting time. So if you can utilize a time where you're sitting down waiting for something to happen and you can get things done, I encourage you to do so and see how you feel after you've done those things and realize, oh, wow, you know what? Sitting here waiting gave me the opportunity to do other things, because your time is important. So you should never let time go by with you just doing absolutely nothing. Life is about experiences, and without the experiences that you enjoy or getting the things that you want, you don't really get to experience anything that you get to have. So don't be alive and not live. You're alive for a reason. Live your life. Do things. Experience things. Because when the time comes where, you call back to where you go or how you feel about this, the next life, or you get into the ground, you don't want to sit there and realize you wasted time doing nothing. Life is about experiences. Have as many experiences as you want, as you would like. Don't leave anything to just spoil and rot. Just enjoy everything. If you made it this far on the podcast, I thank you. I appreciate you. If anything, I'll holler at you later. Peace.